Welcome to Jack's Tech Corner. I'm your host Jack, and this is a Photoshop Elements video tutorial. If you're enjoying this video tutorial, or if you enjoy it, I guess, once you finish watching it, stop by my website, jackstechcorner.com. You'll find a link to the right of this video if you are watching this presently on YouTube. And look at all the DVD selections I have available for you. There's tons and tons of videos on there of how to better utilize your Photoshop elements. Very low cost. They're only $15 plus shipping. Also new to my collection is a Mac edition, which also contains iPhoto 09. So check those out. I think you'll be very impressed with them. Normally the shipping happens the next day. The next day I get them out to you. I ship them out, except on Sundays naturally, because there's no postage mail going. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start right into this video tutorial. A lot of people out there have been emailing me and said, Jack, how do you put those white borders around a picture and kind of make it look faded out, or a black border, one or the other? Now that is called a vignette, or a vignette. Now, the way we do this is, I call it blurring the edges, I guess you could call it that, but it does have a proper name. Now the way we do that is very simple to do. And I'm going to take this picture that I took over a local city here, and it shows a nice darkened background, so I thought this would be a nice one to use. And normally what I do is, or how I do these is, if it's a darkened background, I kind of blur it in or vignette with white. And if it's a real light background, I may actually do this with a black. So I'm going to show you in this video how to do this with white, and I'll explain to you the black part of it. It's very simple. It's the exact same way of doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do, we don't even have to duplicate this background since it's a lock layer. We're just going to create a new layer right there. And then what I'm going to do is select my rectangular marquee tool. And I don't want to do the whole picture. Some people do the whole picture, but I like to kind of use this as part of my cropping technique. So I'm going to start right about here, and I'm just going to pull over and up. Just like that. Alright. Now here's a key part of this tutorial. Right down here, the foreground color and the background color. Notice I'm using black and a white. You can set this to any color you want, but let's use a white just to make this look light around the edges. Now on the foreground color, you can also set this to black. Alright. Now once we have this selection made, what we are going to do is simply go under Edit and Fill Selection. Now if you wanted to have that blackened edges, you would use the foreground color, right? Because we made it black. If you want to have the white edges, we'll use the background color. Here you go. Let's use a background color. And we're going to click OK. Now, as you see, that filled it in with white. Now, how do we get that blurring type effect? Well, that blurring type effect is done just like we did on a couple videos ago by using some feathering techniques. So if we go under Select and we go to Feather, and the way this works is we still have our selection made. So let's go down to Feather. Now I like to use 250. You can play around with this radius and see what you like to do and what you want to have in there. But 250 seems to give me the effect that I like to look at. So let's just simply click OK. At this point you can see now where it feathered the edges in. Once you have that, all you have to do is simply hit your delete key. Now, if we hit Control D, or on a Mac, it's the Command D, we can just simply do this, and you say, wow, that looks really good, Jack, but look, it didn't touch the outside. Well, let's do what most photographers love to do. Let's do some cropping. Right? Let's just crop in here. And we'll just pull this out a little bit. Just simply pull this up. Then we just simply clicked on the check button. And then we fit that to screen. We can have a look at that. Now you can see it has that soft, nice little white edge around the outside of it. Now, with that said, let's see what would happen if we would do that just simply using the black. Simply go here. We're going to undo this. Undo fill. Now, let's go back and we're going to fill this with our foreground color. And there you go. Now it's going to be black, right? Okay. Now it's going to be black. So then, once again, we do our feathering technique, right? Let's feather out the 250. Alright, now we hit our delete key. Now, do the Control D. And then once again, we just crop. And that's how you do the black edges that a lot of people have asked about. Okay, now you can see how it's blackened, but you can see with a very, very dark background like it is anyway, the black really doesn't poke through like the white does. That's why I say if you have a black background, use the white. Whereas if you have a white background or a lightened background, then use the black. It really, really sets the picture off. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial. And like I said, if you did enjoy it, stop by my website, jackstechcorner.com. If you're watching on YouTube, it's on to the right. Just click on the More and look at the DVD selections I have in there for you. They're very, very low cost, so they're definitely not going to strain any budget. I did that for the reasons that I want you to have these DVDs in your collection. So I try to make them very low cost, and I also wanted to, the shipping is very low, but get these DVDs and get them in your collection. They're great high resolution. So until next time, keep those shutters clicking, keep the editors editing, and I'm sure you're going to keep learning. I'll see you back here very soon. Bye for now.